Ronald, a very good evening to you, and just tell us what you've seen. I mean, you spent quite a bit of time there in Butterworth just assessing the situation. Just how bad is it?
Good evening, Uveka. Well, we were stationed alongside the drought dam earlier on, and the situation really dire. And I'm going to ask my colleague Asanda to quickly pan across to just one of the taps here at Pumlan Informal Settlement. It is completely dry, Uveka. And it's a site where a lot of people are experiencing across the Butterworth area. I've got a few people to speak to from the Pumlani Informal Settlement. I'm going to start off with you, Tata. Tata, oqala niyenza kanjani usurvive ngaphandle amanzi?
Asikwazi.
Ukhe wathetha nami ungixelela uba amanzi wawakha kudala wena, and isizathu why unazo?
Hayi ndinazo isizathu. Akekho. 2 months akazobuya. Nokupheka ngoku cha.
All right, that gentleman basically saying, Uveka, that, you know, he made efforts months ago to at least have a bit of water while it was still around, and now those efforts are really going to waste because he's running out of water. I'm going to also bring across another gentleman because Tata, we protest apha nikhalaza ningabahlali ngenxa yento yoba aninamanzi. Umasipala uthini kuni?
Akhona ukuthi 2 months eqaya amanzi bakekho.
Ayidlule 2 months nozuthini?
Asikaziboni akabokaniswe into bakasivezela into bazibuyani.
So we also spoke to a lot of people, Uveka, including this gentleman over here, sharing the same sentiments, that the reason also that they are struggling with water is because the municipality is not giving them clear reasons as to what are some of the issues. When we spoke to a municipal member earlier on, he basically went on to say that one of the issues that they're having is the lack of funding. That is why they will escalate this issue with the Department of Water and Sanitation. I'm going to ask a lady who lives here in this informal settlement. Mama, ndicela since abantu ababhinqileyo ingathi yabona abastrugglishayo, ngasinike nje iinkcukacha zaloo nto leyo.
Futhi kunzima kakhulu thina abantu besifazana. Kakumbi funeke sihlambile kakhulu kuba nzima nyani ngoba zikhona indawo efuneke sizihlambile ngamanzi, kodwa xa kunje ngoku apha eCuwa kuba nzima basihlambe ngoba siyawagcina ngamanye amaxesha amanzi obuhlamba ngawo impahla wagcine phinde uhlambe ngawo, uhlambe i-private parts, kodwa ekugqibeleni siyazibulala i-infection loyo. Sinalo ngxaki apha eCuwa kakhulu, sinayo nyani ingxaki yamanzi nasekuhlambeni impahla zabantwana neeshethi kunzima, kodwa kunzima emzimbeni kuthi thina abantu besimama besifazana ngoba sinezi-private parts zifuneka uba sizihlambile ngamanzi unclean. Akukho mpilo ukuthi ngeliphandle apha eCuwa ngenxa yamanzi, and asiva laa nto kuthiwa iripoti kuthiwe ngexesha elithile anizuba namasevele sibone ingekho, singaxelelwa noba uzawubuye nini okanye umhlawumbi ngamanye amaxesha khange wathuthe ubonge usana ubona ugqibela amanzi ephuma. Xa uphuma nepheyile uzokha amanzi awekho njengangoku ndilapha eyadini, and now kunzima.
Well, Uveka, the lady that just said, that I just spoke to here, basically painting the grim picture, saying that women are the most affected because a lot of them go through menstruation, and without water, Uveka, she's basically saying that they have to use water all the time, the same water all the time, because that is the reason why there's no water. So they try to use water as much as possible, but also risk themselves of getting infections. In fact, when I spoke to another resident earlier, that resident told me that the last time that they witnessed rain here, hard rain, was back in June.
Well, okay, and I suppose it's something we take for granted, Ronald, especially when we have, to go through certain things until we actually don't have the water. Now, just very quickly for us, we know that the Department of Water and Sanitation is saying that it's going to be drilling boreholes in many parts of the Eastern Cape, in those towns as well, where they are facing such dire shortages. Do we know when that is due to begin?
Well, that process has certainly started here in Butterworth, because one of the sites that we went to, we saw the boreholes being drilled, and also I believe, we were led to believe that a lot of other areas that are hit by this drought are having that sort of issue being sorted out. But also, just to give you another sort of news around this whole issue, having spoken to the mayor, he says that plans are afoot to really try and get the kind of budget that will continue bringing this issue of water tanks, which people are saying that in the past there used to be water tanks when this issue was at its early stages, but now since the taps have completely dried out, it seems that not even a single water tank has come to this area. So the situation really dire here in Butterworth and across the Eastern Cape, but it seems here that they are the hardest hit. And one gentleman who also told us that, well, he is actually getting water, but only because he has a water tank. What about the many people that can't afford the water tanks, where he's trying to pump in water from the municipality?
All right, thanks very much for that, Ronald Masinda there in drought-stricken Butterworth, where the situation is getting more dire every day.